one thing too, like going to the mountains, I look for trunks, but I also use that time, sometimes to just process things in my own head. If I can tell sometimes if I'm getting really anxious, it's like I need to go to the mountains, and I'll go to the mountains, and you're looking for trees, but at the whole time, it's very interesting, and where you're not really thinking about one thing, but your mind is just processing the whole time, and it's like you just work through problems you're having maybe, or difficult decisions, and you get like a clairvoyance kind of when you're out there. I had been at the Kong company for years and years and years, and it got to a point where I just wasn't happy anymore. And I'm a pretty patient person, but when I was there, I was getting irritated very easily, and so I knew I needed a change. I kind of wanted to just be in charge of myself and see, like, really what am I made of? My dad told me, if money wasn't an issue and you could do anything, what would you do? And I told him I'd collect trees and do bonsai. And he goes, well, then that's what you should do. I was at a point where I knew I needed to change, and that being art director somewhere else was not the fix. Understanding what the tree has available, and then how do you interpret that? You can get stuck into a format, and that's something I don't want to get to, but I also at times have to consciously remind myself not to do that. So I try to not force a design on a tree. I try to just look and see what the tree has, and then I don't manipulate them like as much as some people would, to create a traditional design. It's like, I'm gonna keep this branch slightly less angled and trying to take it and just really bend it down, or put it in the back as a back branch. Maybe I can use it as another trunk or something. There have been times where I've had a tree 2-3 years and I didn't know what to do with it, and I just would look, and then all of a sudden one day it's like, oh, this is what you could do. When we moved in here, I was using well water. So there's this whole thing too with that. And I thought the well water would be good, and it wasn't. So then from that first year to the second, I lost like 100 trees. I lost like almost my whole collection. There were just dead trees everywhere. It was brutal. And so I was telling Bridget too, it's like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, I'd text Ryan Neal, and it's like, I don't know what I should do. And one thing he told me was, you don't become experts from success. And so that was one of those things that kind of got me over that hump, because there was nothing else I want to do, but there was also a time where I thought, I'm gonna go do something that I don't care about, and then I'll just earn a living like that. But that's where I was mentally, because, you water these trees for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, however long, and then all of a sudden they're dead. So it's like this whole mourning process that I had to go through. So it's not always easy, but also from that I did learn a lot. Having to figure out the trees that were alive, how to get them back to health, and then like what was going on with them and how do I address those issues. So I look for trunks. That's all I'm looking for, are good trunk lines, because branches can be moved, foliage can be grown, but we can put movement in a trunk, but you can't do what nature has done for 100 years. I just look for whatever, any of the natives that we have. So it's like bristlecones or limbers, Douglas fir, ponderosa, spruces. Like, I like to see things through until they're finished. But the thing with bonsai, they're never finished until they're dead. So it's like this never-ending game between them to get them finished. Because maybe you get it to where it's like, oh, I could show this tree. This is where I've wanted it for, all these years in my head. But then, like that next spring it grows, and then you're starting the game again, So I think that's part of it too. It's like this cycle of a game that never, it never ends. You never completely win that game, so. What drives me with bonsai is that I'm not starting with a blank canvas. There's already something there. I just have to interpret it a certain way, And so, like, draw a painting. I don't know how well I do with the blank slate versus having something something already there that can stimulate me and that I can interact with. That's what those trees, they're these living sculptures, which is really, I don't know, it's just, it kind of fascinates me, so. I'm Todd Schlafer, and this is why I create.